Hi, everyone. I'm Tom Slivick, and welcome back. I'm talking with Lynn Morgan. How are you doing, Lynn?
I'm doing well.
Good to see you again. You're the
Thank you.
chairperson for the Upcountry Community Council?
Correct.
Okay. You've been pretty busy lately, right?
Yes, we have.
Okay, the Upcountry, a lot of trees, a lot of forest, a lot of fuel load.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
And so you're busy working on plans up there.
Yes.
Right? Do we want to talk about that first, or should we go on over what you've been accomplishing at the Buckhorn in the Buckhorn area concerning? You tell us.
Well, the town center.
Right.
Several months ago, the council decided to engage in a process for getting citizen and business input for a proposal that's in the current drafted county general plan.
Right.
And that is for the concept of these town centers. The one most upcountry is the Buckhorn Town Center. Even though the county general plan has not been adopted yet, this subject will come up again in the next few months. And we decided not to delay going through the process of getting citizen input and putting together our own more formal idea to present to the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors about what we would like to see.
Okay, Lynn, why don't you tell us and everyone out there what a town center is?
Okay. A town center is a concept of bringing together services for an area.
Right.
So in other words, things are spread out a little upcountry, and it would be focusing on having one area which actually has a geographic definition right now, and in that area, having one place where citizens and people on their way up to Kirkwood or Lake Tahoe can stop and get services.
Okay, so basically, if I have the idea kind of right too, it's already an area that was fairly well, not want to say populated or whatever, but has a lot of businesses already there.
Yes.
And so if there's going to be anything else basically built or added to put it in close proximity of that area so that it's easily serviced by fire and all the fire protection and the things that government needs to provide.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was it was a wonderful process to go through, so rewarding. We had many more citizens involved than we thought we would. Some were a little bit negative and not wanting a town center and not wanting any change, but most people offered wonderful ideas for things they would like to see in the perfect successful town center in the future.
So the UCC put on some meetings, and people came on up, and I believe you asked them, like, what would you like to see?
Yes.
What would the future be? What do you like here? What don't you like here?
Exactly.
Why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown on what you found?
Okay, I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
Well, for one thing, I love these. I don't know if you've seen this.
Oh, yeah.
It's called a wordle, and those are some of the key
words
that
do they come off in the size as the amount that is was friendly?
Friendly is the
most,
biggest
right.
one. Yes.
Okay, and then quiet was second. And,
yes.
And I guess the tiniest one might be, I don't know, rural, warm, historic.
Yes.
There's quite a few all of the same. So judging on, I guess we could put it in the number of hits or the people that like these.
There you go.
That kind of shows you. So friendly and quiet.
Yes,
okay.
Those are what people love about being
right.
up there. We put together, and I was very pleased just because of my business style, we summarized it all in one page. This one page, which starts with, from our citizens' input, we would like to promote or encourage, and then at the bottom, avoid or discourage.
Okay.
So the promoting and encouraging is locating centralized businesses and services such as medical, dental, retail services such as a pharmacy. I was talking to your folks out in the hallway that there used to be a pharmacy up at the Buckhorn Town Center, but that's no longer there. But most of our population up country is elderly. 75% of our population is 55 and older.
Right.
And most of us have medical issues that would be nice even if there was a lab and a pharmacy, so that, getting weekly blood draws if you take blood thinners, you don't have to drive all the way down to Jackson. That
Right.
was very popular.
I want to point out to people that a lot of people might not know, because it doesn't look like it when you drive up there, but half of the population of Amador County is above, in Pine Grove and above.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how much of the population of that half is in the Buckhorn area, upcountry?
I'm afraid I don't, but what we say for our Upcountry Community Council, which actually goes physically from Pine Grove to Kirkwood, we have always considered that is about a third of the county population,
Okay.
so about 12,000. How much is in that exact smaller area, I couldn't say.
It's quite a lot of people, the way everything is tucked in the trees, or you know,
yes.
the many little roads and the roads that come off there to access different houses.
Yes.
And even if you fly over it, it's hard to
it's hard to
recognize
see.
all the housing and the people areas
Exactly.
where people live. So when they come on out, do you want to have like an area that they can basically shop at?
Yes,
and
we
get
would
things
like
they
to.
need?
One of the primary ideas is also to have some kind of a visitor tourist information center where people, again, who are just traveling by could stop and find out where there's hiking, find out about Kirkwood, how to get to Tahoe, and so on. We've also talked about maybe even someday, and this takes all private money, putting a small community park there so people could stop, have a sandwich, walk their dog,
Right.
kind of like Pine Grove has,
Right.
actually.
You kind of have some really great parks up there, but none of them are right off the
That's
off
right.
the road.
That's
right.
exactly
Okay.
right. There were just some wonderful ideas. One of the favorite ones was actually put forth by Ted Novelli, our supervisor up there. We would very much like signage on either side of the Buckhorn Town Center area. A nice, very attractive wooden sign that's much like the Amador City and Sutter Creek
Right.
signs that say, entering Buckhorn Town Center, and maybe a list of the services available going both directions. And we're very excited.
Okay, that's very good. Kind of like a portal sign when you get there, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, stay with us. We'll be back with Lynn Morgan after this break. You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN. Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Tom Slivick with Lynn Morgan, Chairperson of the Upcountry Community Council. And we were talking about the areas, and I was off camera. I was saying, once you leave Pine Grove, you go a little ways, then you wind up like by the post office Upcountry, and then past that, there's a few more buildings. I think there's like a mechanic or a hardware store and a few other little things, and then the school, and then you go on up, and right before you get to Tiger Creek Road, there's the Buckhorn Center, and that is the area that is basically designated. I think it is the designated area for the Buckhorn Center, right?
Correct. Absolutely correct.
So when we talk about where the businesses might spread from, or to be encouraged to come on in, that would be the area, right?
It would. Although that is not set in concrete, that
Right.
could change, in the future.
Right. As you pointed out, the general plan hasn't been adopted, but you've got a little jump start on it there.
Yes.
And of course, you find it's very important. And I believe at the meetings, you were saying people have brought up that businesses like to know where we can be, what we can do, so we don't have to jump through all the hoops. We know what you want ahead of time.
Yes.
You want to comment on that?
Yes, absolutely. We were told not only by Susan Grijalva, our County Director of Planning, but other developers, that very much when a developer is looking at an area to develop, they go to the county and they ask, have the citizens given you any feedback about what they want in this area? And they want that. That's what I've been told.
Okay.
And so we have that in print for them now. We see this as an ongoing process. We've put in our plan to have a review committee when proposals come up for development, in hopes that they will stay in line with what the citizens and businesses up there right now would like. So we also heard some concerns from developers about the slowness of the government process, and I think everybody has felt that from time to time.
Was it specifically about like the ERAs, the environmental impact reports? Right?
Yes, of course. It's that, and with the county cutback in staff and so on,
Okay.
the slowness of the process, things can't get the developers are trying to coordinate their financing with the permitting, and that it's just it's a very, very cumbersome process. And so we are just encouraging. There's very little we can do as the council, but we are encouraging the county to really take a look at that.
Do you have any did you find any businesses that are looking to come in up there? Did anybody come forward and say, we'd like to do this? Well,
it's interesting. Not exactly at the moment, but one thing we did not know as we were doing this, because we started it in July and completed it in September, just this last meeting. In the meantime, 2 new businesses have formed up there, have opened. A small antique store and a new cafe.
Okay.
And so that's encouraging to us.
Sure.
So we think there's potential. It was also
hope springs eternal.
Exactly, always. One of the other areas that I know the county has talked about is, and we got into it a little, design. We really want, we talked about, and it's on our list, the physical setting. We want landscaping around businesses. We want a unique setting that's blended timber, lodge, rustic, mountain design. We don't want a hard concrete, angular.
You want it to look like you're in the Sierra Upcountry.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's something we will encourage, definitely, when businesses come in. But we're hopeful. We're very hopeful.
Okay. Now, the next meeting, you're hoping to finalize this?
Well, it's been finalized, but people have not seen the actual. We made a few tweaks in it at our last meeting, so we will be presenting the final copies, and then I intend to get on the agenda for the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors to present our Buckhorn Town Center development criteria, we call it.
Okay.
And again, one of those things that's important to us is having a design review committee that will keep us involved as
I'm a little curious how that's going to work out, or whether there's going to be some new things, because the county doesn't have a design review.
No, I know that. And, they're still considering that, but that's not in place yet. And again, I know one of the sensitive issues about that, this would all be voluntary. These criteria
Let's put it like this. Even though the citizens might not have any teeth, sometimes they can be very bothersome.
There you go. And we'll be willing to be bothersome if we have to.
Okay. All right.
Definitely.
Okay. Now, along with the Upcountry, I know everyone is concerned with the fire fees.
Yes.
The SRA fire fee.
Yes.
And you've been writing some letters about that.
Yes.
And I know it's been a firestorm on our local internet and emails of different people to say how to pay it. If you pay it, should you protest? Maybe the language that you use. You want to talk about that?
Yes, I'll talk. I'm not an absolute expert on it, but I did get a lot of my questions answered by looking into this. And essentially, there is a process for both arranging for payments.
Okay.
But if you arrange for payments, or if you do not pay on time, which I think actually the time was last week. I think you have to do it pretty fast. Then you still have to pay late fees, and if you're on a payment plan, you don't have to pay penalties, but you do have to pay late fees and penalties if you don't pay. It's better to pay it because it's in court, and if the side that is protesting it wins, you could get a refund.
All right, there's a possibility of that.
Yes.
But to protest it is quite cumbersome, isn't it? You have to send out three different letters to 3 different entities,
exactly,
right?
to the Board of Equalization, the Fire Prevention Petition, and the State Board of Forestry and Fire Protection. And we just feel, especially where we live, where 75% of our population is elderly, they really feel they can't afford it.
A lot of that is because not just elderly, because you're on a fixed income, and when everything keeps, here's some more, and we need this, we need that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Can the state go on fixed income?
Yeah, there's a good question. We also were really unhappy, and again, we spent a lot of time at our last meeting talking about this, that it seemed like this all happened in not a very public process. I mean, some people were aware of it, but many of us were not. It's like all of a sudden this got passed in 2011, and the bill we just got covered from 2011 to June 30th, 2012.
Right. For those that might not know, we're going to get another one
Right.
in January.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so that was
So-
for a year retroactive we paid for it.
Right, and so the lack of openness with this was very disconcerting. And
Okay.
the other thing is that the law is not written in such a way that we have any guarantee or promise that the money we pay in Amador County will come back to Amador County.
Right, and it seems like
And that's-
most of the monies are going, in the initial years, maybe until 2017, will be
Yes.
going to administrative costs and nothing will come for prevention.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
Very
so
disconcerting.
it's
So
kind
we've
of,
sent our letters.
okay. A lot of controversy over that. All
Yes.
right, thanks Lynn for coming by and giving
Thank
us
you.
an update.
Thank
Stay
you
with
very
us,
much.
more news on the other side of the break.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.